Glenn, good to see you again. Could you
And you come back.
EIP and what you do and where you fit into the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, thanks, Cormac, for having me today. So EIP is a insurance intermediary and embedded insurance product provider. So preempting your next question, what's embedded insurance? Embedded insurance is essentially selling insurance alongside another product or service. So a good example would be with the sale of a mobile phone, for example. When a customer buys a mobile phone, they are offered the opportunity to add insurance cover to that purchase. And typically, what we do as a company, we help businesses to essentially design, build, and manage their embedded insurance proposition. So we make it simple for those customers to bring insurance into their let's say their sales journey, and we provide the whole sort of end-to-end support for our clients. So it's the onboarding, so through the sales channel,
Yeah.
it's the policy management. So when customers have, let's say, questions about claims or policy documentation, etc., we provide all the access online to that through a portal, and we also provide automated digital claims as well. So customers quite often don't even have to speak to an advisor when they make a claim. They can do this through a online channel, and obviously that brings massive convenience for customers. Myself, so I'm marketing director at EIP. Been with EIP 6 years, 6 years last month.
Yeah.
And before that, I was 20 years in Vodafone, where I did a number of different roles, all marketing roles or commercial marketing roles. So a lot of experience in this sort of tech co tech co environment. Moving to EIP was a bit of a change in the sense of I moved from a kind of telcos to insurance.
Yeah.
So a lot of kind of upskilling there, but I did have experience of working in insurance because I actually looked after the insurance product on behalf of, let's say, Vodafone Group
Okay.
before I moved to EIP. And my day job, Vodafone actually is one of our key clients, or is, one of our biggest key clients, and so I obviously spend a lot of my day still working with former colleagues, which is great as well. So I enjoy that.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. So I think we'll have a lot to talk around the marketing and sales side of things. Just so I can make sure that the listeners have a clear lie of the land. Your clients are the the phone retailers or the retailers of a different product, and then your clients aren't the insurance providers. You're
They can be, they
okay.
can be. We work with insurers. You know, it, it, so take a step back to your first point. Typically, our clients are telcos,
Hmm.
banks,
Hmm.
electronic retailers, any cus any company that really wants to offer insurance to their end customers. We're not a direct to consumer business. We actually work with clients to help them to sell insurance to their end customers. And the reason I said that it can be the insurers is that sometimes they don't necessarily have the platform or the capabilities to do that themselves. So we can work with insurers to help them to deliver that on behalf of their clients. They quite often have clients as well that they want to offer a solution to. So, um, I think our kind of mantra is we'll work with anybody, who really wants to offer insurance. EIP, a question I often get asked is, what does EIP stand for? Well, actually, it stands for everything is possible.
Okay.
So actually, that's kind of our mantra, which is, if it's about insurance, you want to sell insurance, talk to us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the background to EIP as well.
Yeah, cool. So it goes both ways. It's if insurers want to support their current clients, then they could come to you. If other businesses want to start selling insurance, then you can support them with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, typically, I'd say we started back initially with device and mobile phone device and gadget insurance, but actually over the years we've broadened that. So you now can provide insurance for a very variety of products and services. So things like even hearing aids, scooters, mobility, even green tech. So there's lots of let's say scope for embedded insurance, and I think that's the key thing for us as well, which is embedded insurance isn't new. So as I said, mobile phones is probably a great example. Another great example is travel insurance. When you buy your holiday, you're quite often offered insurance as part of that sales checkout. But actually, more and more businesses are seeing the opportunity of embedded insurance within their sales journey, because it brings a number of benefits to them as an organization. So it could be increased revenue, more trust and loyalty, stickiness in terms of kind of their proposition, but also for their end customer. It provides convenience. They don't have to go and look for what's the best insurance provider for my bicycle, or for my travel even. They trust the brand that they're buying, let's say the core product with, to have done that legwork to get the best insurance offer for what they're actually purchasing as their, let's say, main item.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, and I can see all the different use cases. I mean, some stuff that I've bought recently has had that option, so I think it does fit in. But I think probably what a lot of your focus, maybe, and I may have this completely wrong, but is educating a lot of these other product businesses that there is the potential for them to embed. Is that a fair assumption?
I think it is. I mean, we absolutely, there's some really great examples out there, as I say, with companies who perhaps traditionally haven't looked at insurance as part of their sort of customer proposition to do so. So absolutely, if we identify opportunities, we do reach out. But similarly, as I said, more and more companies are identifying that it's better value for their customers and more convenient for their customers if they offer sort of insurance. So they're looking to bring that into their under their sort of core proposition as well.
Okay. So and would you say that the sales channels, so then there's a mix of inbound and outbound?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, yes. So we obviously get inquiries directly to us, but similarly, we reach out as well. Particularly in some of the more traditional cases of embedded insurance. So again, we work with banking clients, and banks are a great example of when they embed insurance as part of their credit card offer or as part of their bank plan offer. So we work with the likes of Monzo. So they have a current bank offering whereby, as part of one of their packages, you also get a mobile device gadget insurance included as part of your monthly account payment. And so that's another great example of embedded insurance into a proposition. But yeah, it works both ways. We get opportunities and we also seek opportunities.
Okay. And curious on the maybe seeking opportunity side of things, where businesses already have embedded providers. Do people move, or do they can you nick the business or win the business off of other embedded insurance providers?
It's a good question, because quite often it varies by often the client you're let's say prospecting or want to engage with. But it's a good question, because you're right. Actually, the let's say the life cycle, a lot of these deals, let's say, are multi-year deals of 3-4 years. So the opportunities don't come up every year. They don't change their IT platforms every year, etc. But actually, if I would say, it's actually, it's one of EIP's advantages, which is actually we make it very simple for customers for our clients to actually make that change to a different platform. And also, once they got that platform, we'll work with any of their partners as well. So if they've got an existing insurance provider, if they've got an existing claims administrator, if they have an existing fulfillment partner, we can work with them. We're not kind of bringing our partners to
Yeah.
to their proposition. We can, because we have a lot of clients, particularly those who maybe are starting to, let's say greenfield and don't have existing relationships. So actually, we can bring all those partners, including the insurer as well,
Yeah.
because quite often that's one of the big questions we get from businesses who want to do this. You know, who do I approach for actually the insurance, which ultimately is the risk taker. And we obviously have partners that we have relationships with that depend upon the opportunity. We would bring them into the conversation as well. And that's actually something that's relatively new to our let's say core proposition as well. So we now have the opportunity to actually bring the insurance as well. So if a client doesn't have an insurance partner, we can support with that as well through our intermediary approach.
Okay. Okay. Nice. And what would you say the split is then of businesses that already have an embedded insurance part of what they do, and they're moving over, or the people that you're bringing it completely fresh to its greenfield?
I don't necessarily have a clear view on the split, but what I would say is the examples I provided earlier about banks, about telcos, about travel companies, they typically already have those relationships because it's been part of their proposition for a while. I think where we see the growth opportunity is, and where we will bring that kind of that element of the also the insurer is maybe those non-traditional opportunities that perhaps haven't had those had the insurance in their core propositions before. So so it's kind of, as we move more into those different sort of areas of embedded insurance that haven't necessarily been traditionally at the forefront. I think that's where we'll be bringing more of the the opportunities to bring the insurance into it as well.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so you've got before we started recording, you mentioned a few like go to market approaches, campaigns that you're creating at the moment. Can you share a bit about what that is, what's going on, your thought process around them?
Yeah, so obviously we work with the likes of Vodafone, as I mentioned, and they are a client we work very closely with. And so the product launches I was mentioning earlier, they are really just bringing enhancements to the existing proposition that they have in place today. So they're projects that we work with. We have we work with the whole of the Vodafone group, so not just in the UK. So we work very close with all the Vodafone opcos, and so it's very varied. Every market has different requirements, and so as a company, we support them on delivering what they need for their end customers. They know their customers better than anybody else, so they know what their customers need from a sort of a proposition perspective, and we support them to deliver it. When it comes to kind of our own marketing, ourselves, we're very much account-based marketing approach.
Okay.
We, because of what the field we're in, which is quite I'm not going to call it a niche, but it is quite specific, embedded insurance. So we would very much identify the companies where we think there's an opportunity for EIP to, provide a great service for them. And so what we do is we typically will target those customers, those clients, sorry, prospects through our account-based marketing. So, through the traditional messages, social media marketing, etc. And the likes of getting our brand awareness out, like podcasts like this as well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely. And how many decision makers tend to be involved in these sales?
So it's a good question because it again it depends largely upon the organization, but typically we the key stakeholders are generally commercial kind of senior proposition managers or exco. So these are our key stakeholders and the people we try to engage with are those who are really looking to drive commercial value and benefit for their customers. Traditionally, it was often seen as an IT sort of technology sort of approach
Okay.
for bringing insurance into a customer journey. But actually, you know, I think the key thing about embedded insurance and driving showing the benefits is that actually you can really build a very strong customer message. And so that's obviously why it's important that we bring that sort of conversation to more commercial marketing senior stakeholders when we're trying to engage with them, because much as I enjoy the industry, but insurance has a bit of a not the best external image. It's kind of seen as a necessity, and something you kind of have to have for a number of reasons. We want to show, and we try and show that actually it's a real benefit to customers as well, because they have, to coin the phrase, peace of mind. Insurance is the key moment of truth for every insurance proposition is when you need to make a claim. And we really focus on delivering a great experience from the customer up. So actually, when we set out as a company, we actually started with the claims experience
Okay.
and not the sales journey. Okay, you'll find lots of great examples in the market of really slick sales journeys, and we have them ourselves. 2 or 3 clicks to onboard, very few questions to get the insurance sale. But actually, where a insurance product lives or dies is essentially on the claims experience, and that's why our focus has very much been on making that claims journey as slick as possible. So I mentioned earlier that about on the claims side that we have a journey today whereby customers can raise a claim, get a decision within 90 seconds. And so no paperwork, no kind of calling up an agent, asking, and providing sort of information. As long as the customers, giving us a good overview of what's happened to their device. In the case of mobile device insurance, we can take that claim through to a decision in say 90 seconds, and upon that 90 seconds, that then triggers off the actual fulfillment journey to get a device to that customer, or get the repair for that customer, etc. So a really slick experience. And as I say, that's why it's so important that you look at the claims experience, because that's from a customer perspective, that's great. They know that they're not having to wait time on in a queue for a call or whatever it may be.
Yeah, fine. Okay, no, that's a interesting way that you approach it, because I think most people go the other way first, and they say, okay, let's just get as much in the door as possible, and then if they claim, then we'll make it better as time goes on. But
Yeah.
and what has the knock-on effect been for you with taking that approach? Has it made that your sales process is easier, your marketing approach is easier, or a benefit all round?
Sorry to interrupt. I'll let you get back to the podcast in a second. I just wanted to let you know that I have created a free scorecard, free quiz for anyone that's watching to go through. It gives you a score on how your sales process and sales function are performing. So if there's any gaps, it identifies them, gives suggestions, and it only takes 2 minutes to go through. So I'll put it in the first link in the description. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn after you've gone through the scorecard. Let me know how you got on. I might have an extra little offer for you for free as well. But I'll let you get back to the podcast.
I think it's benefit all round. Obviously for the customer, it's convenient. It's so much quicker. It's speed. Again, going back to the mobile device experience. I don't know about you, Cormac, but I can't live without my phone. Even if it's like an hour. So same for consumers today. They do their banking, they do everything over their social lives over their mobile phone. So clearly, getting that device back to them in working order, or if it's been stolen, we know the challenges that we have in the cities with phones being stolen, etc. Getting something getting my device back to me up and running is really important. And then, as I said, for the clients, by providing that slick experience, well, obviously there's cost savings, because clearly having people in call centers is expensive, answering phones. So clearly, if you can push more claims through an online channel, then there's cost savings. There's customer satisfaction. We know and have seen and evidence that customer satisfaction goes up, so the net promoter scores massively increase. And then I'd say there's more general operational cost savings as well, by driving things through a digital channel. And look, I mean, I think we've all experienced a massive transition to digital. People expect now to be able to do everything digitally, and that's why we really have a slick claims journey for our clients as well.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like it. So you mentioned account-based marketing, and people may hear that and say, okay, well, EIP have signed some whale clients. They've got some clients that will probably feed them for years to come. So is the secret just account-based marketing, or to get these whale clients, or is there some more to it?
There's more to it, as it won't surprise you. Obviously, we want to target the right message to the right clients and what resonates with them. You talked earlier about who are the audiences for when we are reaching out with our proposition. For an IT audience, for the person who's going to have to do the actual implementation, we want to really push a message that it's easy implementation, easy and quick, and actually we'll take the heavy lifting. We don't need your IT resource, which in every company, IT resources is always quite often a restricting factor. So we really target the messages to the audience and to the client. So key messages around making that implementation very simple for the commercial audience. In our target companies, it's all around about speed of market, how quickly we can get a proposition into market. Typically, where 90 days is what we aim to achieve for our clients. So again, it's about tailoring the right message to the audience. So it won't surprise you that we do that on our marketing. So we identify, what resonates with the banking clients, what resonates with the telcos, what resonates with the green tech companies, etc. So it really is kind of dependent upon who we are actually looking to market towards.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So it's a lot. I think a lot of people probably go. I think there's probably two buckets of the majority. People say, okay, we're segmenting it for the industry.
Yeah.
Say, okay, well, everyone in this industry, every job title in this industry is just as interested in the same message, which doesn't work. Or it might work to some degree, but a lot of the time you need to then look at the job titles, like you said. Or a lot of people say, this is our solution, we'll just send it to everyone and see
Yeah.
who can.
And I think it's a really good point as well. We've one of the learnings we've had over the years is that we used to talk about our tech. We used to talk about our platform. We know our platform is great, but actually it's the so what. Having a great platform, what does that give me? Well, it gives me all the benefits that I mentioned before, in terms of a really great end customer experience. And actually, that's the message that we put in our marketing now. It's not the kind of, the platform features as such, like it's more what is the end customer benefit, the so what. And so we've really changed our messaging as well to do that. I think the other thing we've tried to do as well in our marketing, and be interested if you had looked at it, we like to see we definitely consider ourselves as being different. We like to be different. We've been around for 20 odd years, so we're not a startup. But we've always prided ourselves on the fact that we've got some real great experts within the team, who have all been in the industry for a number of years. And so our marketing is a little bit different as well. So we try and bring a bit more color into our marketing, and do a bit more standout marketing than perhaps traditional insurtechs and insurance companies would.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if people go onto the homepage of your website. I think like just that first page. I challenge you to try and find any other similar pages just
Certainly in insurance, yeah.
in the same space. Yeah, it's so I think that's really key. I think the like being provocative, maybe pushing the boat out a bit further, are scared to do because they don't want to damage the reputation and stuff like this, or they don't want to be associated with the wrong things. But how does your thought process go around with saying, actually, let's push the boat out, let's be a bit different?
You know, I think it's all about getting the right balance. You know, we pride ourselves of being, fun professional. So whilst we are, pushing maybe that boundary in terms of being a bit different, actually, as I mentioned, the team is has many years of expertise as well. So actually, the professionalism sits there. I mean, I think it's just, again, it goes back to the audience, and also the country, maybe or the market you're targeting as well, because I'm not claiming to be an expert on marketing to the US, but it's very different messages, very different probably approach to the US than maybe in some European countries. So I think, again, it's kind of being understanding and appreciative of the audience that you're targeting.
Yeah.
Would a playful image appeal to I shouldn't say this, but a finance guy, who's after the number, show me the money side of things? Probably not. So it's, again, right message, right customer, right audience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with what you guys do, it's you're not too far on one side, and you still have that professional look with a bit of fun, I think is
Exactly.
saying it. Okay. Curious on the funnel process. So say you reach out to someone, they come back. So you've done this, you've picked a business that you want to reach out to, you reach out to them, they respond because you've been personalized, you've taken the time to understand what sort of things would work for them, and they want to have a call. How does the handoff look? Is it someone that messaging does the call all the way through the process? Do you have other people that come into the process and come out?
Yeah, absolutely. So when, obviously, once a client reaches out to us, typically we would have an engagement call with them just to really understand what their needs are, and hear about what they want to look at. And quite often that moves into a demonstration of what we can provide. So we typically bring in members from our team, so from our delivery teams, from our data teams, and I think that's really key as well. So particularly in insurance, data is key. Having real time, accurate data, so you can make quick, informed decisions on what you do with your insurance product is really, really important. And that's one of the great things, again, about the platform we have. We bring all the data from all the stakeholders into one central place. So essentially, our clients have access to the data in real time, so they can see how their data, their products are performing. So we bring different members from the organization, and clearly we'll have someone who will manage the relationship. So probably one of our account team, who would obviously nurture the sort of the client through the journey. As and when needed, we bring different people from the organization into the conversation. Most of our engagements are typically done now, remote. Clearly we will go to clients, but actually, even hate bringing up the COVID word, but during COVID, we actually had several implementations, during that period in different markets without visiting clients. It was all done through the cloud sort of software approach. So gone are the days where we need to set up meetings and such. Yes, there's always that personal thing, and we're very happy to engage with people, but quite often it's all just about having a Zoom call or a Teams call, and I say, bringing people in as when we need it. once we have a good understanding of the requirements and what a client wants to do, we'll typically take that away and frame it into an approach of how we think we can deliver the solution, or how we can deliver the solution, and then it goes through this sort of iterational sort of approach to make sure that the solution that we have will deliver upon what the client's actually after. I mean, what we aim to do in a lot of cases is actually, as I mentioned earlier, is make it simple. So, again, it depends upon the clients. We've got huge clients like Vodafone who quite often want to have integrations. So if you think about, Vodafone, their customers' insurance is actually billed to their mobile phone bill. Okay, so there's no kind of credit card payments. It's really convenient for them. That's obviously requires some integration because they're a lot bigger organization. They want to really integrate into the insurance into a seamless journey. But then, we have clients as well who they don't need that level of integration. They just want an easy way for their customers to add insurance to their purchase through a checkout experience. So again, it depends upon the level of proposition that the client is wanting to offer to their end customers.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's really strong that you guys will have someone that is there the whole way through the process, because I think a lot of the time with tech-based solutions, you'll have so many different types of salespeople and it just gets handed off. So one person will do that first contact, and then it's a new person when they're talking about something else, and then a new person, and by the time of them making the decision, they've spoken to 10 different people, and they don't know who to go to. So that's really strong, and I think that's an easy takeaway for a lot of people listening. If they are doing that in their sales process, don't.
No, I think having that, maintaining that single line of contact is really, really important. We're not a huge organization by any means. We have, I think it's around 50 or so people, but we do have that sort of personal relationship with our clients as well.
Nice. Okay. What does the year ahead bring for you? What challenges are you facing at the moment? What goals do you have that you want to hit?
So our big focus is on the increasing our client base on the embedded insurance side of things, especially around the intermediary side, i.e. the insurance offering. So really, for me as a marketeer, and my focus for EIP is about the brand awareness of EIP, that we have the opportunity to bring all the partners to a prospect who wants to offer insurance to their end customers. I say that's traditionally moved us away from the account-based marketing, because account-based marketing is obviously very targeted to who you want to speak to. For the embedded insurance, because we see there's a lot of opportunities out there, my focus is going to be a bit more broader. So I'm going to be doing a lot more brand awareness about EIP and what we can do for customers. So that's going to require a little bit of a shift in how we approach marketing. The other thing as well, which is really, really key for in terms of a change, is actually again moving away from talking about the being an insurtech or a tech company. We provide solutions. We provide an end proposition for our prospects. So moving away from talking about say insurtechs and such like, and very much focusing on being an embedded insurance provider.
Yeah, nice. No, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to catching up and looking back on the maybe some metrics, or how you've grown that brand awareness, and also probably the knock-on effects that you've seen then in the sales of then having more brand awareness and how that may have changed your conversion rates or the sales cycle length and stuff like that. I think that'll be interesting. And then also the changes coming or for all the messaging, like away from the insurtech, which I think is another takeaway that a lot of insurtechs could take, is like, don't just label yourself as an insurtech, focus on the solution.
I think I think there's a bit of inertia about insurtechs now, that there's been some, we've lived through an era of certainly the past 4 or 5 years where there's been many insurtechs promising a lot of kind of results. And I think there's a bit of inertia to hearing, oh, not another insurtech. Yeah. And so that's why, as a company, as I say, we've been around 20 years, plus. So for us, it really is about, moving it from being, the insurtech message to embedded insurance. And that's going to be, a big message for us, a big push of messaging for us, and especially about being able to provide the insurance element of it as well, which is a bit of a new string to our bow that is something we want to obviously get out to a wider base and wider audience.
Perfect. Well, Glenn, where should people go to find you or EIP? I'll put the links in the description, but where's the best place for people to go?
So best place to go would be eip.tech as our website. Also, always happy to engage with people on LinkedIn. And so, happy to come out if you want to distribute my LinkedIn profile as well. I know we're connected, so we do that. And obviously the EIP LinkedIn site as well. So you can find us there. And yeah, very happy to engage with anybody who's got any questions or wants to follow up on the conversation that we've had today.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for that, Glenn. And speak soon.
Great. Thanks, Cormac.